All right, looks like we are live. All right, I am putting out new URL. And let's see. There is. I will add Jason Washburn. Update. All right, I'm waiting on Wash to get here. Welcome, guys and gals. Let me see here. Where's my chat? And he is on his way here. Room. Let's see if I can find. Go to the YouTube page. Well, I should be on any second. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are super excited. Aye. Trying to find where the chat is. All right. I see you, Kohatsu. How's it going? Wash is running late, but I knew he was going to. Life and all that good stuff. So as soon as he gets in here, yes, no, thank you. Yes, it's been a busy 30 days for sure. That is definitely it. Even busier than normal. So we have 6 viewers. Awesome. Welcome, all of you. Nice. So we are into the final hour of the Kickstarter campaign, which has been absolutely amazing, which we will talk about more as after Wash gets here and we start recording, or at least recording for our podcast like we normally do. Now, thank all of you for making it a success for sure. You're supposed to be in here, not watching. I sent you the invite. See how you are. You keeping our backers waiting. Let me know if you got the invite. Should be in your email. So, but there's so much competition on Kickstarter right now, and with projects launching every day, I mean, we are stoked. We are very humbled by the first and this last rush. There he is. And everything in between. Well, I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm not talking yet.
Oh, well, that's a first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How's that?
All right.
Can't see me, though. Maybe I should turn a light on.
Right.
It's my office. It's always dark. Let me turn a light on. I bet I can reach that. Hold on a minute.
So the chat I can see is on the YouTube page. Yay! Hey, David. I don't know if there's a chat in the Hangouts, but if you have any questions for us, shoot, and then we will answer them. All right, Wash, are you recording with the Audacity?
No, I need a minute. I got to clear my other stuff here. Hold on. It's coming up now. I suppose we're not going to clap today, so I'm recording now. I'm live. Good to go.
All right. Welcome to the Docking Bay 94 podcast. I am your host, Jason Hancock, with my co-host, Jason Washburn.
Yo.
And I didn't bother to check out what episode this was because I'm just way too excited. We are doing something a little bit different than we normally do. We are live via Hangouts with some of our backers and friends. We are into the last hour of our King's Champion Kickstarter.
Yes. What are we at now? 47 minutes. So just watching it tick down, kind of interesting. Although I think we might have to make this a thing. So
I agree.
For all the other Kickstarters that we do, this has to be a thing. This is, I got to say, probably a lot of people don't do this. I suppose you could always just use Kickstarter Live too. We didn't think about that because that's a newer feature. We didn't have that last year. I don't know if you can bring more people in either. I mean, this lets us have you and I remotely. I don't know if that's like a one place location. I did do a live cast with when I played Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. And I don't know if they do remote, but this is cool. We're going to have to make this like the inaugural hangout at the close, but I think we should continue to do something like this. I think it's a cool thing.
I agree. Welcome, Don, to the chat. We have Kohatsu in the chat and David. Yeah, no, great idea on the wooden coin stretch. We knew when we put the metal coin stretch, it was going to be a stretch to reach it. But we wanted something to strive for, and that was a perfect in between. So, and I'm glad we made that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was, and I want to tell you, it's probably something that we had talked about. We had talked about a lot of different stuff, you know, over the course of building up to put it. I mean, there's so much that goes into getting a Kickstarter ready and making sure that you know, cross all the T's and dot all the I's. But at one point we had talked about that. And then I guess it just kind of.
You got on that one track mind of the metal coin.
Yeah, I think, and we didn't really talk about it. So then it wasn't listed. It was a cardboard piece, and you know, I guess I really didn't talk about. We had talked about a metal coin and doing a commemorative coin, and should it be exclusive? Should it not? And because we both are on opposite sides of the fence with those things, and so ultimately we just said, well, let's make it a print run thing.
Right.
So, which I think was that's a good choice. I think we might look at doing something like that in the future. So it comes with that. You know, there are people that get upset when they miss it, but hey, if you still get it on the first print run, you can still get it. So it's kind of something that I think would be interesting for the future to talk about. But when I read that this morning, you know, why don't you just do a new backer? Woo! Why don't you just do a wooden coin? And I was like, well, I don't know. Why don't we just do a wooden coin?
Right.
So did some of the number crunching real quick, and yeah, that makes sense. So very happy to do it, David. Very happy to do it.
So, um, do you want to give the Latin saying away away, right off the bat?
Sure, I can. So right, save your bullets in the gun, right?
Right.
So I'll tell you, for me, I was in the early or late 90s, early 2000s. I played a lot of EverQuest, and I'm an online gamer guy. So I ended up playing EverQuest as a paladin on Brel Cyrillus was the server I was on. And so I was in this guild, and it's kind of like a half role play kind of guild, and, you know, but something that came about was, fighting with your brothers and this whole thing. So just kind of something that stuck with me over time, plus what I do for my regular job during the day. That's very, team orientated and all those things. So some time ago, we came up with something that we were going to put on a memorial for somebody, and this kind of stuck with me. So it says, "Stand by and guard my soul, for I will die for yours." And that's something that has a big personal meaning to me. And I've never really shared that with anybody or put that out there with anybody in that respect. But when we were talking about doing something commemorative and talking about doing something like this coin, it kind of struck me as, you know, this might be the right time to put that in there. So that's what it means, and doing it in Latin, because that's kind of I don't know what, the godfather of language, I guess, if you can call it that, but just made sense to me. So that's what it says: "Stand by and guard my soul, for I will die for yours." And that's the biggest gift you can give another person or being. So that's kind of what it means to me, and that's why it's on the coin. Doesn't really pertain to the game so much.
I don't know if we talked about it, but are we going to be able to get that on the wooden coin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would that be? I didn't know if it was too small.
It should be just fine. Well, awesome. The coin is a 25 millimeter. So if you have 25 mil figures, so look at the disc. 25. It's going to be about like, I don't know if you can see that very well, but I think it should be fine. It might not be 100% legible, but you might have to get real close to it. But I'm going to try to get that on there. It means, now that it's put out there, it's pretty personal to me.
Well, maybe we can put half of the saying on one side and half on the other, or something.
And that might be something we need to do. So stand by and guard my soul, and then that might be kind of cool.
So, right on. So I thought we would talk about a little bit, just kind of the whole process of going from. I mean, we've talked about it on other podcasts and stuff like that, but as we watch the numbers and whatnot, but the whole process we've kind of gone through from beginning to end. Well, not the end, but 3/4 of the way there now. So
yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, I think one of the interesting thing is, this is my sixth. I think it's my sixth Kickstarter. So I had 3 under a different person, and where I wasn't the person that controlled the Kickstarter. I built all the graphics and did everything, and I was involved with the games and design and all that, but I didn't run the Kickstarter. And then, of course, this is the 3rd one for Talon Strike. So kind of interesting, because my first foray into Kickstarter was, I think 2012 was, I want to say it was 11 or 12 for Click. So the platform is a lot different now. It's changed a lot over the years. And so we do, trying to get ready. It's really not what it used to be, which is, hey, I drew some stuff on a napkin and we're looking for some funding for this. I mean, now it's, when you're bringing a product here, I mean, literally, we don't need to do anything else. You know,
We have people popping into our chat.
there we go. I guess so. Are you sharing
That
that with
works
everybody?
too.
I don't. But that's kind of what has been interesting about that is the difference it is in over the years and how that's changed and what you actually have to do to get ready to gear up to do a Kickstarter. You know, and we're not a big giant publisher. I mean, this is like you know, two guys, you know,
Right.
who rack our brains to make sure we come up with everything so that you know, the folks that end up being the end user, the end product, that they, you know, they get not only an awesome game, but I mean, you know, kick-ass components. Who wants to play a game with crap component? You know, everybody's done that. Everybody's played a game where you're like, you know, what did they really put into this? They could have really done better. And so that's, for me, that's one of those things is sitting at the helm of the ship, is to make sure that, you know, I give the best experience right through this Kickstarter platform, and knowing what to touch on and not to. And it's a learning experience each time. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It can be hard.
No matter how much research we've done and the people we know that we talk to over the last 3 or 4 years that are in the board game industry that we've become friends with, there's just something that you always learn on top of all that as well.
Yeah, it very much is. And I think that's, and you got to be willing to listen, right? I mean, that's the other
Right.
thing. I mean, we probably all know people that, you know, aren't very good at that or don't do that well, but that's hard sometimes, right? As a person, is, you know, somebody's going to tell you, hey, you know, that's okay and everything, but you really should look at it this way or really do that. I mean, that's kind of like when I play games with Kohatsu. I mean, he's like, just slams me repeatedly. Like, really, that's the move you're going to make? I'm just going to knock you into the dirt, fool. So, I mean, that's a part of it, that it has been a growing experience and a learning experience, and saying, you know, it's okay if I didn't get it right 100% the first time.
That and Kickstarter being such a new platform altogether, we're all learning, and it learning as it's evolving and changing. I mean, just in the 5 years, like you said, that you've been in it, and I've been following for, I don't 3, 4 years. Like Zaya
Yeah.
was my first game I actually ever backed, and I became aware of Kickstarter, and my wallet has been hurting ever since.
Yeah, and like, just because you're a creator doesn't mean you absolve yourself of the pain. Because I mean, like, currently I'm backing other stuff and that I think is great, and
Right.
I try to help. I mean, you know, there's other people that are in the same boat we are. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people make a Kickstarter and they do a one-off and they don't really plan to make anything else, but, or a designer gives it a try. I mean, you know, we have our own designs, but also, I mean, we did Scott Holmes' design last year. We picked up a game at BGG Con this year that we're working on vinyl. It's a record collection game that's playing really awesome, and we're excited about that. And so, I mean, there's some cool things like that too, that you know, now that she's kind of rolling your pipeline as a company, and you know, we want to continue to make games based on, you know, different themes that you don't see all the time. That's very important to us, and good components and good play,
Right.
and you know, whether that's 2 games a year or 1 game a year or 5 games a year, I don't know, but that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to bring people. I mean, everybody kind of has a thing, I guess, and that's ours in custom box games. I mean, that's the other thing I'm really good at.
Yeah.
So they were great with Borgia. We had a lot of good feedback on that, and the 22 or so custom games I made for Hooch.
For the yeah.
Crazy, right? What was I smoking on that one?
Right.
I don't even know. But so, I mean, that's something that I think we've talked more heavily on this Kickstarter. That's going to be something that probably will continue to do through our Kickstarters. Is offer those you know, exclusive handmade boxed games of the game that you can't get anywhere else. And we're only going to make what we make for the Kickstarter. I won't ever make those House of Borgia boxes again. And with this game, I won't. Once this closes, you won't be able to get the $200 level or the $450 level or any of those specialty items that come in with that I hand make. So I think that's cool. You know, if it never really takes off, that's okay with me. You know, if only one person ever buys it, that's okay too. I have just as much fun making it for that person. Because I know that feeling. And so I'm that kind of gamer, right? Oh, look, and I got something special, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Right. You want to have that. You want to have that thing. So it's kind of cool to be able to do that. A lot of publishers, they don't do that kind of stuff. They might do like a limited box or, you know, number their stuff. But I mean, this is different. This is handmade, handcrafted stuff. So
Right.
I think it's good for us.
No, I agree. It's kind of become our little niche. But so
very much so.
We are sitting at 27,874. This is absolutely amazing. We may break 28,000. And when we had kind of two personal goals that we talked about before launching this and in the last year or 2 years as we're working on the game and doing this. And one, we knew it would be a little bit of a stretch, but to have more in the funding level than House of Borgia. But we knew that was going to be a little difficult because House of Borgia was $12 more. So per backer, blah, blah, blah. That was going to be a difficult task. We figured being and the fact that House of Borgia also plays 6, it's a Scott Alms title, and a few other factors where this was a 2-player game. We knew this was going to be in a niche within a niche, in a way, you know, because you're limiting yourself. But the other thing, what was even more important to us, was actually our backer count and kind of testing how far our reach was, and
that support that you feel. And I'll tell you what, you feel it. I mean, from where I sit, it's amazing to go through that process and to have that. Very exciting to have that. I mean, on Borgia, it was 786 backers. So we're
at 775 now with 33 minutes ago. So we may actually break that, and that would be absolutely amazing.
Right. And you can't look.
I mean, it's amazing. It's not that it's to say it's not amazing now, and we are very humbled by the experience, but that would just be like
it's like a personal goal we talked about. Do you think do you think we'd ever amount to get more? I mean, because I mean, like, funding Borgia was an amazing experience. The cool thing through this experience is that you know, it's a different style of game. It's a different kind of thing and a very different theme. I mean, jousting. When we got into this, oh my gosh, 2014 I think is when I first started, and Mike Wilster, a friend of mine, when we first started talking about doing this, and the game is really based off of his ideas and his concepts, and like it says at the bottom of the page, you know, is jousting a viable theme? Is it something we can design around? And then we went and did some research. Does that exist? Is there that game out there? And no, there's really not. There really wasn't other stuff. There's very limited stuff in jousting. So that interested me a lot as a publisher, is to bring a unique theme to the table, you know. So then starting to design around that, and oh my gosh, has this game been through the paces? Like,
yes,
I wish I could share with everybody, like show you like all the crazy stuff. Like, so there was an update a while back I did where I talked about the process and showed some old art and stuff, and I got a lot of feedback on that. I think people kind of resonated with a lot of people. They thought that was interesting, and it was fun to do that. But I'll tell you, that's one of the crazy things, is like how much this game, and like going through the process, and I would call you on the phone and I'd be like, hey, so what about, and you'd be like, no, we're not doing that. Right. You know? So I mean, over the time of the design of the game and working that out, and to have where it is now, because I probably played, I don't know, I would have to ask Doughboy
Snyder, yeah,
because I mean, he was my develop partner for a lot of it, but I don't know, 500 plays maybe. I mean, probably, we played every single Sunday without failure, man. That guy showed up every single Sunday. It was so great to have that. Like, I tell him all the time, I thank him. I don't think he really gets it. Like, I'm sure he would log into tabletop. He'd be like, "Oh my God, we got to play this again. We got to play again," you know? And we play and then reset and play and reset and try and break stuff and trying to. So, I mean, it's just a lot of fun. And having that many plays of it really gives you an idea of the depth and what's out there. And that's when I knew I felt good about the game over the time it evolved, and things that stayed and things that, you know, you cut and you don't end up putting in the game. But very interesting. If anybody has any questions at any time, just throw them out, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah, and I remember one specific time when you went, you kind of had that eureka moment with the worker placement, because we even thought, even though worker placement kind of came in the last year, we had fiddled with a couple different ways trying to give it a new, unique experience and thematic experience that failed horribly, and we figured out why people don't do it this way.
Or at least we couldn't figure that it would make sense. So for a long time, we worked with the you had workers. And they were the same as the dice colors, right? So they would advance with you. So you started with the white worker, and then you could earn the green, and you could earn the red, and you could earn the gold. And then you had two, I think there was like one gold worker and two red workers and three green workers and four white. So you got, and that's really. When I moved it to a worker placement, we kind of played that for some time, and in fact took a version of that to BGG and played. I think I played 2 games with that version, but it was really, you know, at that point, that was really the only thing that hadn't really locked down, and we still kept the worker placement. We just did it with a number sequence, which ended up being a lot better.
Yeah, ended up streamlining it quite a bit.
Yeah, so he's asking, is December delivery still on? No, we are. I think we actually put November. I don't remember if I put November or December.
I think you did.
But that's the goal. So to give you a little more insight to that, David, it's pretty straightforward. So the only thing that's really out there that we're gonna the biggest thing for us to hurdle or tackle is going to be all the custom art, right? So we have 30 squires that we're going to have to do. So, I mean, as soon as this thing closes tomorrow, the squire level and the knight level people are going to get a gajillion emails from me until they turn in their stuff. And they only have so many days because we can't hold up the print. So I'm hoping that they'll all be on it and they'll all turn their stuff in real quick. But we're going to start with the squires, and our artist will start doing those. And she figures she can knock down 7 or 8 of those a day. The squires are much smaller pictures than the knights. The knights, she does this all by hand and by pencil. And so the knights are done on a much bigger scale. And the squires they're just a bust of the head and then the shoulders. So we should get those done pretty quick. So we got about 40 days slated to get all this art knocked out. Once that's done, the graphic design, of course, you've seen. So that's already done as well. We have to run some checks for coloration. So part of what we call pre-flight is making sure that we have all the right spot colors, or however you want to say that, for printing. So once those things are done, it goes and gets checked. So with Borgia, we kind of had a hiccup in that we had submitted everything by when do we have that submitted? By July?
Yeah, something like that.
Right. So we had everything submitted by July. And then there was like a 3-week period where nobody answered us or got back to us. So kind of one of the reasons we're not going with that same manufacturer again. That kind of turned us off to them. But so we had that 3-week period where we could have been moved up, and then we ended up how late we delivered 3 weeks late. because of that 3 weeks. So our time schedule was all on and everything was lined up. So there's no reason for me to think that this won't hit on time. I mean, we don't have anything super crazy in it. It's
nothing that we haven't already cleared with Lookout Games that were
long
shot games. Sorry.
So I mean, they're aware of all the pieces, and I've been in contact with my person there all throughout this process. I mean, they follow the Kickstarter. You know, I've emailed her a couple times during the Kickstarter, so they're well aware, and you know, I mean, they have a good history. They do a good job, and you know, in fact, some of you probably own games that they've printed. You just don't even know that they've manufactured that game. So
I was trying to find on our
feel
page,
very
but
confident.
I was trying to find our page of when our delivery date is, but apparently it's just not readily available. I wish they'd make that.
It's
a
going to
little
say
bit
it in the
more.
pledge level. Just look right at
Does
the
it?
pledge level.
Oh, I
Pledge
was
level
looking
will tell
here
you
at the back
exactly
end.
when it's going to be.
Oh, I was looking. Oh yeah, estimated delivery November
There
2017.
you go.
So, yep,
You have to
November.
put that in the pledge level. So
That's right.
no reason to believe that it won't hit on time. And even with House of Borgia, games shipped the week of the 20th of December, which was 3 weeks. So we were 3 weeks over on that. And we're using a different fulfillment this time too. So that we had some issues there, and we're going somewhere different on this game.
Yeah, David asked. I would have to think that going retail following Kickstarter is difficult. Ultimate, any plans?
Yeah,
It's
it is hard.
Very.
That I'll tell you, that's one of the most difficult things to break into is the distribution market. I don't know why that is. It's just hard.
Well, part of it is it's two different companies that you use. So usually you have a fulfillment that delivers exactly to your backers,
Mhm.
and then there are big distribution companies, two big ones for the most part, but there are some other smaller ones, and then you've got to make a deal with them, and with the amount of competition, and then the amount of competition in games period now, which is good. It's hard to get their attention because they have to convince retailers why should they be backing yours. Plus, the bigger distributors, you also got to have so many in order
Correct. Like you can't
for them to
enter
buy.
like Alliance. You can't even talk to Alliance unless you have 30,000 units. I don't know that that's the exact mark, but they have a number that you have to hit. And that's not. I mean, we're just not that kind of size of a publisher. So there are some smaller distributions, and like Borgia is in distribution in areas through our hookup with that, but. This will definitely, once we get it out to our backers, we're going to look to put it up on our own store, on our own website, and then it will be available through Amazon. That doesn't cover the whole planet, though. There are some things that some countries can't get in there. You have different embargoes or different deals. So the best way is to actually license your game out to other publishers in those parts of the world. So if you have a German publisher and they say, "Hey, we really like your game. We'd like to license it in Germany," and that's a great way to get your game available in other parts and of the world and to hit that. I mean, like this morning, somebody asked about Borgia. They live in the EU, and they're like, "Well, I really can't get it. I can get it from Sweden, but it's almost as much as the game to get it shipped here." So I really feel that that's one of those hurdles that's hard for a smaller publisher, because I don't have the wherewithal sometimes or the resources to do that. But it is a goal. I mean, it's one of those things, and I mean, there's other companies that have been successful at making that transition, and I'm friends with some of those people, so those things help. I mean, that's the good thing about this community, and if you're well accepted, and I think we are. So, when we
At least people
contact other
pretend to
people,
like us, so that's half the
right. I will gladly like you today if you give me a cheeseburger tomorrow. I mean, it's like that for us. And if we don't know a question, and I think at this point in the game, we've pretty much seen most everything we're going to encounter. We might not have as much experience with that, but I also don't think that we try to do things that we're not capable of doing either. So,
and we definitely don't do anything that we haven't researched either by asking friends
no,
or reading or whatever. So
no, what is that? No wags.
Right.
No wild ass guesses. And I think that's out there too, especially as a backer, because don't get me wrong, I've backed projects that haven't fulfilled. I know what that is. I mean,
Yes.
it sucks. It's painful. And that's not our gig, and that's not how we fly. So very much so, we want to make this a thing. I want to be able to make more games. I want to be able to keep my backers satisfied and happy. I mean, that's the whole point, is to provide you with an awesome product. And we had some, like a good example of that for you is we had some issues with delivery for House of Borgia to Canada. For whatever reason, man, getting our games into Canada was ridiculous. Like, it took for freaking ever for people to get stuff. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, we delivered, like, their game would mail out on the 20th of December, and they still didn't have it by March 1st. I mean, it was that, like, some people, I mean, it's like some people got 3 copies because I mailed them a copy. You know, they put in the request like they were supposed to. The distribution center sent them another one, and they still didn't get that, like 20 days later, 30 days later. So I personally hand mailed copies from Arizona out of my own case of games that I had that go to reviewers and stuff, just so that's the length I went to make sure that they got their game. So it's very
Canada
much that
and
way
Mexico.
for me.
Both of those, Canada and Mexico, we seem to have.
Mexico took a little bit for them to get it too.
Yeah. Good news is we went with a different.
We're not using the same person this time around.
We definitely wanted tracking notifications for this exact reason, and the company we went with before did not offer that, for not even in the US. So we went a different route, and we're very happy. So
right. So I mean,
much better. And if there is an issue, at least we can look and see where the heck it's at.
Right. And that's another thing too. Tracking costs money. So, you know, I mean, we're eating a large portion of that, but going through what that is, I mean, I wanted to put a game out, and there's so much game in that box now. It's so awesome. I feel so great about that. I mean, like, a lot of times you open the box and there's a lot of empty space. I'm telling you, when you open this box, folks, there's no empty space in this box. Like, I've squeezed everything I can squeeze into this box. So, I mean, it's going to be jam-packed. The only downside is when we do an expansion, hopefully at some point, it's not going to fit in the original box. So, I'm so sorry about that. But we may do
hopefully the expansion, maybe it can have some air in the box, so that way.
We may do the expansion in a bigger box, so you can take everything from the first box and put it into the expansion box. That's what we've talked about on this. It's been pretty funny. But because don't you hate that when a publisher does that to you? That's one of Kohatsu's things, man. So everything fit in the box. It's just kind of, it's been an interesting thing from that side of things. So the person we have doing it this time, much different, and I don't foresee that problem. Some of our stuff with our last fulfillment, they like
I just want to say real quick, 777 backers, and we are $68 away from hitting 28,000 with 17 minutes to go.
So we got the 777 at 17.
Right.
So 27 at 777
with 17 to go.
That's pretty nice. That feels lucky. That's a good thing. 17 minutes, 16 minutes now, counting down. It's crazy watching that thing just count down. And it's funny because with Borgia, man, it was like in the middle of the night. So
you set that time.
Right. I jacked that up. I put the wrong time down. So like I followed it right until I was like falling asleep on my desk. And I was like, okay, I got to go to bed. So like I missed like the last hour and a half or something. It was like at 2 a.m. So when we set this.
Asks, will it fit if I sleeve the cards?
No, in the original box, unfortunately, with all the stuff, the size of the box. Now, we talked about increasing the size of the box and doing some different stuff, but I got to be honest, as a publisher, I don't want to. I want to give you the best game at the best price, and so that was one of those things that I kind of had to say. It's a telescoping box, so it's not like it won't fit. You just might have. I guess you might have some space from the top to the bottom. So it'll fit, but it might not. The box top isn't going to close telescope all the way down over the bottom. So so you might have a little bit of space, and the game box is 41 millimeters deep. So you might have a 20 millimeter hangover. So it'll all still fit in there. And if you put it on your game shelf, it's just not going to be it's not going to close perfectly when you sleeve everything. Now the sleeves for the big cards, for the bigger size cards, there's only one company that makes sleeves for that size, and they're every bit of penny sleeves. They're pretty small. It's Mayday that makes them, they're not like what the Dragon Shield is, and of course, a thinner sleeve is going to fit better, but so it might not fit perfect. No, and I get that. I'm like you. I like to sleeve stuff too, but I also didn't want to charge more than $23 for the game. I wanted to have that mark. It's kind of something as I wanted to be able to offer you as a backer, so that you didn't, oh my gosh.
The other part of that, on the publishing side of things, when we're looking at box sizes and what we're trying to get, is going with the bigger box also increases shipping cost, and that's the big thing.
And international shipping has changed so much over even just the last year, from last year to this year for us. I mean, it's gone up too, and we don't want to charge you on that, so we eat the shipping cost, so we kind of have to figure that in. So trying to get a low price point and trying to get that shipping for you so it's it's affordable. Right? I mean, that's what it's all about, is getting the best bang for your buck. Right. So like I'm rowing the same boat as other publishers, right? I'm all about that. But I'll tell you what, though, definitely on the, hopefully the game is well received and we get to do an expansion. I got to be honest with you. We want to do that expansion for it. So many things that we wanted to do that, that the opportunities didn't present here. But I mean, there's still other buildings that aren't, that we've played with, we've designed, talked about,
not fully play tested. We got everything that we fully play tested
several times is in there. Yep. But there's other ideas that we have out there for other things, and things we put on the table once or twice that definitely would go into an expansion. I really wanted to do dice. We couldn't afford dice this time around, so maybe that's something that'll be in the expansion. As part of the expansion is new knights, new stuff, and dice. So you have the
custom dice,
special dice that go with it. So I mean, those are some of the things that we would certainly do. But I'd love to make the box that size, so you can not only get the expansion stuff, but then the base game and have it sleeved. So
yes.
That cool thing about expansions is it gives you that opportunity to do that. I think Smash Up did that. They released just an empty box. Like, you could buy the expansions, which are smaller, and then they had the Smash Up big box you could buy that now everything fits in. So we would look to do something like that for you.
Wow. Sorry, I was looking at the numbers. Yeah.
Stay on target.
Right? Always.
Right. So 12 minutes and 776. So somebody, that's the other thing with this, that, I'll just share this with you. So over the course of the game,
the game or the Kickstarter?
I'm sorry, over the course of the Kickstarter, right? So when you look at your...
Before you get into that, Bradley asked, will you be showing the game off at any conventions? We don't have any booths planned at the moment, but we will be at BGG Con for sure.
Right. We'll definitely be at BGG, and we should have the manufacturer's copy by then.
Well, hopefully we'll have close to everybody's copies.
It should probably be shipping. The hope is that it's shipping then. That's like in the middle of November. I can tell you that I belong to the Indie Game Alliance. Indie Game Alliance is going to Gen Con. Indie Game Alliance is going to Origins. So I will talk with Matt Holden, who runs the Indie Game Alliance. There's a possibility I could get a prototype version at at that if you happen to attend Origins or you attended Gen Con, and you could go by and ask. Doesn't mean you'll have it out on the table by any means, but if I could get with him on that, we could definitely get a copy there, so you could definitely look at it. And I mean, you could probably ask him to throw it on the table. He probably would. Matt's an awesome guy. I mean, he's like crazy doing 100 things all the time, but the Indie Game Alliance is a great resource for us.
So anyways, sorry, shiny object.
That's okay.
To go on with what you were saying.
So right now, our raw backer count is 904, but backers that are still backing the project is 776. So that means that over the course of the month, we've had people join and leave. Like you keep seeing the money jump up there. Like it was almost at 28 and then it drops. So somebody backs it and then they drop their pledge. And so get that. But the actual backer number, 904, is where we're actually sitting at. It's just that over that time, for whatever reason, people join projects and leave projects, whether that's financial or another reason. So that's one of those things as a creator we see that no one else ever sees is really interesting.
Yeah. I think we'll do an update if people are interested after this whole Kickstarter is done, and kind of show the graph and everything, because it's kind of interesting. The graph that tallies up over the 30 days, and really usually most campaigns, anybody who's backed games know that most campaigns have that kind of middle slump. And we were fortunate enough that we really didn't get that, even though it did feel like some days we were just treading water because we get the same amount of canceled pledges as raised pledges.
As gain pledges, like 12 for 12. Like we gained 12, but we lost 12, so we didn't really move. But I mean, we're still moving forward. I mean, people are still joining. It's just a couple people left that day, so it didn't look like it. But we'll definitely share that information. We don't. We're very much all about that and making sure that you guys are just as informed as we can make you, and I think that's a cool thing, and to have that, and it's important to us. I want to share that information with you, and I want to share the process. And when I say that in my updates, it really is, man. It's really us. It's in that together, and that's how I feel about it. So it's cool to do that, and we'll definitely put an update out. I don't know if it'll be tonight. I had a long day, and I might put out a real quick thing. I got to go eat dinner. It's almost 8. I have to eat dinner when this is done. So I'm gonna go eat dinner, and then before I go to bed, I'll put something out, and then we'll get our stuff together and probably do another update tomorrow or Sunday that kind of culminates all of those things for it, and then get on those art people. Turn in your pictures so we can get cranking on the art, because I need every bit of every day, every bit of those 40 days to get that done.
Hopefully everybody gets them in soon, or before those 40 days, so that way we can get it onto the printers.
Right. Also, too, Bradley, just so you know, so what we plan, not this con season coming up, but the con season following that. So a year from now, we'll be gearing up, and hopefully by then we're talking about going to Origins and BGG. We've done a few years now, so if everything goes right, we may end up. I mean, Borgia is a shared title with Gamelin, so we may have some in the Gamelin booth at BGG. I don't know if other things, but we may be able to get this there too, depending on when it ships and what's available to us. But I would really love to be a company that's big enough to have presence at cons and do that. That's the best way I can interact with folks that support us and continue to do things that you guys think are awesome. That's how I can find out how to better serve you and do those things. It's just to make contact with you. So that's important to me.
Oh, I agree. 5 minutes
6
ago.
minutes. Yeah. Is you're saying 5? Mine's saying 6. Now mine says 5.
I actually refreshed it instead of waiting for it.
Right. Refreshing every 5 seconds.
Right.
Refresh.
Not that I haven't been doing that for the last 30 days.
I know. Like you come right. Like you wake up in the morning. It's like the first thing I do is like my phone. How is it going? What questions do I need to answer?
Right.
And that's important to me. Like I like when people ask us questions and do that, and you can interact and answer those questions. It's a big deal to me to be able to do that, interact with you guys as backers. It makes me feel good about that. You know, if someone has a question, hey, answer that question. You know, tell them what I can do for you or what I can't do.
Right.
Equally as important.
I think we try to keep a very high level of engagement all the way around, because that's important to us.
Yeah, and I think if you backed more than one project or a couple projects, then you might have had a project where somebody was way more active and somebody was not. And I prefer that and that's just my take. I like it when the creator and the collaborators that are in on that project talk to you and help you with that stuff. So kind of interesting to me that way, and that's how I try to be with it. So I just got an update. We got another backer. So we did. So now we're back to the 777 with 3 minutes to go. You can check the dashboard. So checking the dashboard takes it down and lets me see that less than a minute ago. Another thing that's really interesting is the amount of plays on the video. So we get a count on that and like the percentage. So like 34% of people watch the video all the way to the end. So like
yeah.
The rest of that I don't know. They watched that. They could have cut out like 2 seconds before it ended, or I don't know. Maybe they didn't like my voice and they were like, I'm not going to listen to that
guy. Done. Had enough.
Right. Who does that guy think he is? So very interesting. What are we coming up on? 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
The 2-minute warning.
Right. If we're talking about the NFL, that's like 15 minutes.
Touche.
So
I don't think we're going to quite break 28,000. That's okay. But we do have 777 backers. And what does that put us? 9 short?
778. Yeah, because we did 786. I think
778. Somebody got in there right at the right under the bell.
It did. A $6 pledge came in.
Oh, right on.
For a digital version. Sweet. That's really cool. I can't.
We got a lot of those compared to House of Borgia this time.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I mean, it's going to be a lot to cut out. I feel for you because I've had to prototype this game several times.
Right.
Oh my God, it's a lot to cut out, but it's the art's gorgeous. It'll be cool. We'll set it up in PDF for you. Some people over in the EU asked last time through it. They do theirs on a different thing. I can't remember what it is. Something 9 or I can't remember the setup, but they do it in a different way. And that was asked of me. That might be something I look into trying to knock out this time for people. I mean, I got to reset up the whole game again as a print and play. But there we go. Someone else, 779.
Nice, 2 more. Sweet.
So 81 seconds now. 80 seconds, counting down. Someone just getting in there under the wire there.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. It's really under the wire. So coming down to 1 minute to go. Very cool to share that with you guys. Very. We got to do this on our next one.
I agree.
We got to do this. So somebody else just got in.
Sweet.
So refreshing.
But yeah, 27,546.
That's what it looks like it'll be. With 40 seconds to go. So how cool is that? No, we just had another backer come in for $1. It's Eduardo.
Did he really?
I don't know if that's Edo or not. I'd have to look at the dashboard here. Kind of want to watch the seconds, but no, it's a different Eduardo.
I'll give
it back for $1. Thank you for your. That's awesome. We appreciate the support. 14
and you will
seconds.
be able to get copies in the backer kit, so definitely. I mean, Extra copies.
781. 781.
Going
2.
once.
Yay! That's it.
781 backers. Awesome.
781. So 5 backers short of our last game.
That's awesome.
That is so great. That is so great.
I agree.
Wow. How cool to get that. So let's say thank you so much for the support. What a great thing. So cool.
Yes, that is awesome. So we usually during our Kickstarter, before you go off to eat, during our podcast, before you go off to eat, we usually cover a couple Kickstarters ourselves. So now that ours is over.
Well, I actually tweeted about or put in our update Mana Forge. I think Mana Forge is a great game. Brian's a good dude, and he definitely deserves to have his game made.
So there is a couple that I'm backing as well.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Check out JR Honeycutt's and Daryl Andrews Fantasy Football.
Fantasy Football. I'm backing that as well.
Yep, I'm backing that. They still have like 11 days to go. And they're about halfway to their goal. I have their Fantasy Baseball. I just have not got a chance to play it because I've just been busy these last 30 days. And also, I think JR Honeycutt also is doing the Tesla versus Edison duel. Is that his game? Do you know? The two-player game? I can't keep up with JR as much as JR is doing.
I feel you there, Bradley. I feel you.
What did he say?
He said, "Woohoo! My wallet takes the hit."
Right. Nice. No, thank you, Bradley.
So fantasy football. Let's see. And we always do this on our podcast. We always talk about different stuff we're backing or what we like, or what's out there. So interesting. Just a little tidbit. So Mana Forge, it's got 25 hours left, but it's at $13,313, and it's got 313 backers.
Nice.
Kind of a funky number thing going on there. But what else am I into right now? Oh, Brass. I'm back in Brass.
I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet.
Yeah, I'm back in that game.
I'm going to be one of those backers that sits and waits.
Yeah, Gavin does a good job, man. So
yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, the art is very good. Well, that's Mr. Connington doing the art on that. I don't think they don't do the graphics, but they did all the painting, so stuff. So it's very, very cool. So, all right. Well, I think we'll leave it at that, and we'll sign off. I thank you so much for sharing the last hour with us.
Diceborn Heroes by
Diceborn Heroes. I don't know that. Let's look that up before we go here. Thank you for throwing that out there. Diceborn Heroes, is that the name of it? Diceborn.
I just found out, but would backed it based on this live stream alone. I'll be looking out for it when it's available after the Kickstarter. Oh, thanks, Conrad. Send your info to talonstrikesinfo@gmail.com, and I think we can add people to the backer kit if you're truly interested, and then we'll have through there.
Yeah, we'll have late pledges. I mean, but he didn't
get a chance to pledge, so I think we can add people to the backer kit.
Yeah. What he can do is it just like with House of Borgia. So like a couple of days after House of Borgia was completed, we had a link up. So once backer kit goes up, then I can put the link for late pledges, and then you just pledge. We'll do it the same price as what was on Kickstarter, so that I'm with you, man, on that. You're like, oh, what a cool game, and you miss it. Yeah. So, being able to offer that to you it means a lot to us.
Yeah. So there you go.
talonstrikesinfo@gmail.com. Yeah. And then you can send that in, but definitely you can late pledge and then you'll get the updates on backer kit just like everybody else. Well, cool, man. I'll respond to you, but probably not till after I eat dinner.
Right?
But thank you so much for joining in and saying hi. That means a lot. So, did you check out that? Did you find that game?
No, he said there was no spaces between the words. Nice.
Oh, Dice Born Heroes, all one word. We should just be able to type in Dice.
Diceborn is all one word. Got it. Got it
Okay.
right here. Yep. 1 to 4 player co-op dice game. Ooh, inspired by Japanese RPGs. Oh,
He's got a long time too. 31 days to
31
go.
days.
Nice.
My wallet just took the hit. All right. I am definitely starring this just because of the artwork and the fact that it's based on Japanese RPGs. I am totally up for that.
Do you know the guy? Do you know the designer? I don't know. I'm not looking at the screen right now, so I can't.
I just flipped back to it. Might take him a second to type it.
Yeah. Or you just know because it's
nope.
Just it's just Canadian. So okay.
Okay. That's all you got is just okay.
Okay, hey, that's cool.
No, I like this.
I'll support it.
We'll definitely look more into this. Thank you.
I've backed lots of projects. I don't know. I meant like 70 something. And this is my second account. I have another account that's not my Talon Strikes account. That's a personal account that I back stuff on too. So
yeah, 276 or 77. I think I've backed.
Yeah, you're a little more crazier than me. I'm not quite there. Neither one of us are as good as Suzanne though. Suzanne is like
right.
She should have, instead of superbacker, she should just say superhero. That's awesome. So, well, hey, thanks for throwing that out. Well, we'll take a look at it. It's got a lot of time left. So let's talk about that on our next podcast when we shoot our podcast, and then that'll drop before this ends and get some more exposure for him. Thanks for pointing that out. It looks really cool. So
it does.
As you know, I dig dice games. If you couldn't tell.
Exactly.
I like dice games. So, and this is cool too, because I can see in their picture where they put the dice on the cards. That's what we do in King's Champion. A lot of games don't do that. So, that's like Role Player really interests me that way. Because it has the placing your dice down as well in the card. Anything else you want to hit?
I am good. For the next one, we can talk about the next one next podcast. It's still got 28 days to go, but I did end up pulling I ended up pulling the trigger on that Sweet Dreams Cthulhu.
I knew you were gonna do that. You're telling me on the phone the other day. I think I'm gonna do that.
Right.
Freak out your kids or your grandkids.
So.
All right. Well, hey, 781 backers. That is so awesome. I can't. It's wow. Just how cool. Thank you so much for being part of the project and helping us to bring that to life. And I'm excited to get to work on getting the art squared away and getting this thing to you as soon as we can. That's our goal. And I really can't wait for people to play it. There's just so much game in this thing. It really is. And it has some neat functions. I think you guys will really enjoy if you dig, 2-player games that have a lot of depth to them, because this is one of them. This is one of those games. So,
all right. Well, where can people find you at, Wash?
You can always find me at Talon Strikes. I love to tweet with people and hope that. Well, we got that with House of Boards, so I hope we get that with this game too. At Talon Strikes, we have a website. www.talonstrikes.com. We have a Facebook page for Talon Strikes as well, so you can follow those things. Of course, you can follow me as a creator on Kickstarter. Many of you did that this time around as well, but you can always get me through Twitter, man. I'm like ridiculously, get yelled at for being on my phone a lot. So you can always get a hold of me there as well. And then we have the podcast that
Yeah.
the
Docking
big man
Bay
here
94.
heads up. Yep.
Docking Bay 94 podcast. You can also find me at JA_Hancock, HANCOCK. You can find it on Facebook. I am trying to make the Facebook thing more regular with the Docking Bay 94 and promoting it a little bit more.
We also have a guild on BGG.
Yeah, nobody's on.
Nobody goes to.
I know, because I need to go there. Not enough time.
Just one of those things, man. There's a lot to take care of and a lot to knock out. But yeah, please always hit us up with questions, and then it's talonstrikesinfo@gmail.com and then you can also put in our website. You can always go to our website. There's a contact me page on our website as well that gets forwarded to us that we'd love to answer. I think also too, I'll leave you with this. There's some really cool things in this game as far as people represented in all the nights. So it was my way to pay back to a lot of people who have done a lot of cool things for me, from Chris Kirkman to Michael Coe to Jason Katarski, Michael Eskew,
Suzanne, Stephanie,
Stephanie,
Maggie
Kohatsu, awesome. Just people that mean a lot of things to me and have really helped me through my endeavors. And it was my way to really honor them. So when you get the game and you take a look at that, all those nights mean something. So it's kind of cool too to be able to have that come alive and having you guys help me to bring that to fruition. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, and thank you for hanging out with us. This wasn't quite the train wreck. It started off slightly as a train wreck. So hey, we are good, and we are definitely going to make this a end of Kickstarter.
Yeah, but to do that, I think so. So we
maybe not even wait till the Kickstarter. Maybe we'll do this, every other podcast or something. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll see. There might be something to talk about there.
Right.
But anyway, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Yep. Look for you to chat with us in the forums on BGG and certainly on Twitter or Facebook, and let us know of what we can improve on and how we can do better to bring you what you want to see. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Peace out.